I wanted to be a millionaire, but I didn't have the bottle.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, dear.
Sorry. I'm against hunting. In fact, I'm a hunt saboteur. You know what I do? I go out the night before and shoot the fox. Hello? I used to go out with a anaesthetist. She was a local girl. I'm going to keep doing it until you acknowledge me. Acknowledge me.
Just ignore him. He'll go away.
Look
him in the eye.
I said to the gym instructor, can you teach me how to do the splits? He said, how flexible are you? I said, I can't make Tuesdays. That's it, fine, fuck it, you've done me. Okay, right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Dog Podcast, episode 112. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
I'm Elton.
And this week, apart from being completely ignored and shunned in my dad joke again, we will be seeing how everyone's week's been. If there's any feedback, we will obviously read that out, and then we'll move on to this week's movie, which was Darren's pick, which was Darren.
I've completely forgotten. No, see how they run.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
I'm getting
Doing
old.
well. I'm
just reaching for the bag of Werther's originals as we speak.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, while Darren tries to regain what sense he has left, we'll start with seeing how everyone's week's been. And we'll start with you, Jim. How's it been, sir?
Right. Okay. For anyone who hasn't heard.
Yes. Here we go.
Basically, the last 2 weeks I've been going around ruining people's day with some rather unfortunate news. Listeners may remember a while ago I talked about going for a scan. Long story short, that scan showed a shadow in my lung, which led to more tests, which found 2 lumps in my lungs, which are malignant and cancerous. And so much of my time has been shuttling around various hospitals, having tests and seeing consultants.
Yeah.
And the long and the short of it is, they're very small, they're not spreading. I'm in excellent health, apparently.
Nice.
And on Monday, I'll be seeing a consultant who will give me the full lowdown and what the treatment's going to be.
Right.
Yeah. But, it's been kind of an odd few weeks, shall we say, as trying to catch people with this news, because it's not the kind of thing you can just sort of casually just pop in a text. Oh, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Love to the family, by the way. Right. Okay. And
so,
yeah, there is no easy way of saying that, is there?
Not really.
No.
As I say, I like the go around ruining people's day. It's bad news, but it's not the worst news.
No.
As I say, people at home, don't worry. I feel fine. I even have a cough at the minute.
Yeah.
You know, I would never know they were there. And I have seen them. I have had the camera down the throat.
Oh, and how was that? Dare I ask?
Well, I got the appointment, and it said, you'll have the option of sedation. I thought, that suits me.
Yep.
Knock me out,
that.
get on with it. When I went in, they said, oh, yes, do you want sedation? We do recommend it. I said, yes, please. They said, right, we'll just give you something. Just relax you. You'll be conscious throughout the entire thing. I thought, oh, what?
Yeah, hang on.
Hey?
And you can watch it on the screen. I was thinking, I'm not sure I really want this, you know. But anyhow, it's kind of, they say, it might take, depending on the consultant, might decide to go through your mouth or your nose. And I was thinking, I think the mouth's bigger, isn't it? My podcast says my living. I've got a big mouth.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what was that? And basically what they do, so I'll go through this for anyone who ever has to have this done for whatever reason. Don't worry, it is fine. They will give you a mild sedative. Now, for me, I could have gone a bit more of the sedative, to be honest. I wasn't sat there to go, come on, put the strobe on, man, get the Floyd on. I didn't really notice anything at all. So
get the Hawkwind on.
So whether it actually did anything or not, I do not know. But what they do when they put the camera down is they actually like spray your throat like an anaesthetic. So all you have to do is just, like the dentist, just open wide, and down it goes. And if you just sort of relax, it's actually okay. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but there's like a spray thing built onto it. They keep spraying you with anaesthetic while they're doing it, and you've not got many nerves in your lungs anyway, or in much of your inside, so you can't actually feel movement rather than anything else.
Oh God.
But so they have these big bloody screens, and I was going, actually, my lungs look pretty good, you know. I mean, I'm an ex-smoker. I mean, I gave up years and years ago, but my big fear is it'd be all like black and grey, and I'd be like, oh God, there's a fag end there. Oh look, there's a Rissler paper stuck in. Oh Jesus fucking Christ, it's like an ashtray. Is it a packet of crisps? Oh God. But actually, it was all like really, really pink and healthy, and even like the two little rogue lumps, which are quite small, just looked like little bits of chewy, all sort of pink, and they look quite healthy rather than look grey and black with tentacles going, I'm going to fuck you up. So it's going, I'm not scared of you.
Nice.
But so if you just literally just sort of just relax and just let them get on with it, it's fine. So it's not nearly as bad as you think it's going to be.
Right.
And so because that anaesthetic, once it's in, you sit there and you sort of. Are you all right? Yeah, thumbs up. Are you doing well, love? I don't know. Just get on with it. Come on.
Yeah, unless they take the wrong turn, and the next thing you notice it's sort of it's lifting you out of the chair.
Well,
they've gone too far. God damn it!
We can see daylight.
Hang on. It says Calvin Klein here. What? Hold on. Oh no.
No. A friend of mine had a camera. We had it at the other end.
Oh, God.
They said, do you want the spray? He said, no. Then he realised, yes, I do want the spray. I do want the spray.
Oh, shit.
But I mean, it's from my oldest friends. When I told him, he had a lovely, reassuring story for me. His dad's had cancer twice. Oh, he's fine.
Right.
Once was like a skin cancer on his leg, and he had to have a big lump took out, which took months to heal, but totally fine, chopped it out. Now, the other one, I will tell you as he told me. He said, right, as you know, I'm not a medical man, so I'm not sure of the exact terms. But basically then, he got arse cancer, which they cured by putting radioactive eggs up his bum. And his mum couldn't sleep in the same bed as him because his arse was radioactive and his farts were as well.
Why
would you make that comedy? Why would you say stuff like that?
On the plus side, though, he made a fantastic nightlight.
So the sun really did shine out of his arse.
Well, apparently, yes. But it worked. Completely cured. Completely up and about in his allotment, happy as Larry. So there you go.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine that on Simon
There is a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
There is a cure for cancer, but it might involve radioactive eggs up your arse.
Fucking hell.
And that's the sequel to Alien.
Well, yeah. Alien on Earth, contamination.
Yeah,
I think you'll find them on the Ian Summers catalogue somewhere. But
you probably will.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't be too sure.
Don't go. Don't look. Don't look.
Do not Google that.
Do not want to see.
Do not.
Radioactive eggs for your arse.
Yeah. Right. Well, that kind of puts everything into perspective, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
Radioactive arse eggs. How was your day, love? Well, I've got something to tell you. I think you might want to make up the spare bed, love. And I'm not eating the beans this week.
No lentils. Yeah, so that's been my week. On that savoury note, I'm not going to top that. So.
I think, the radioactive arse eggs is. If we were still,
I might not have the terms right. I'm not a medical man. Remember that.
Yeah, I asked for that on private. God knows what they're giving me. Well, That's yeah. If we were still doing the made up titles, I think that would definitely be the title for the episode this week. I think radioactive arse eggs. Jesus Christ! Right. Anyway, and to follow that up, how are you doing, Elton?
Wow. How the hell do I follow that up?
Well, how are your radioactive arse eggs?
Oh dear. Well, in comparison, I've had a shit week.
Compared to that.
Wow.
Okay, my week.
Mm.
Oh, I got right. Oh, hang on.
Mm.
Oh yes, I've written it on my hand, and it's all gone a bit sweaty and a bit worn out now, unfortunately. So, you know the app with the 3-word, where you can find yourself. My week consists of roof, fridge, and sea.
Right, I'm looking that up. I've actually got the app here. I can pinpoint your position where it was. I've got to look at where. Okay, so it's the three words.
Yeah, three words. Wasn't it my 3 words?
Bongo, biscuit, cabbage.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So the ongoing drama of our roof. I didn't mention this last week because wanted to smash shit up. So what we've had someone come around and have a look at the roof, and after moving all the guttering down, which was absolutely fine, I've positioned it lower than the actual fascias themselves. It didn't make a blind bit of difference. Turns out that when the extension was built, they put the slope on the roof wasn't enough. And so the bottom tiles on the roof don't sit far enough over the roof to drop into the guttering properly.
Yeah.
And they're sitting a bit flatter than what they should be.
Yes.
Basically, we've got some spare tiles in the garden. We were wondering where the hell they come from. Turns out they should have been the bottom row.
Oh.
And everything should have moved up about an inch or two. Every row should have moved up. And capillary action kind of works where the water runs down and then gets drawn up backwards behind the last tile.
Yeah.
And if it's short enough, then it runs over that tile and then drops into the house. That's what's happening.
Oh, fuck.
So I'll be honest, I'm going to bodge it this weekend. I'm going to mastic the fuck out of that roof.
Yep.
Just to buy me some
professional.
time.
If you're bodging it, it'd be duct tape and blue tack and super glue.
Well, if I run out of mastic, I will be hitting them as well.
I'll be right over there, mate. Don't worry. I'm good with plasticine. I can sort that out. I'll sort that out and help you out.
Yeah, we had a guy come along because I was on the roof trying to lift a tile. I was like, I'm gonna fucking make this a lot worse. So I'll leave it to the experts to show me how to do it. I'm still not gonna attempt it because that's way out of my league. I'm afraid I'm happily turn my hand to anything, but that is just a bit too much. So I'm gonna get us out of this situation for this winter, and then we'll deal with it in the summer when we can remove stuff properly and safely.
And it's warm enough to do it. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
No more nails. Just go for it. Everywhere that's got a crack in it, just blast it. No nails, and if anything, you can put a nice mirror up as well.
On my roof.
Yeah, why not?
If you want.
blind passing planes and seagulls.
Yeah, what were those 3 words again, Elton?
He did roof, fridge, and sea, and I looked it up, and there's no roof, fridge, sea. So I did roof, fridge, water, and it's Shady Side, Ohio.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So you're on the shady side of Ohio, apparently. Yeah,
that's about right.
Well, I've got roof, bridge, seat.
No,
Roof,
fridge.
Yeah, I put that as well, but it's come up with roof, bridge, seat, roof, fridge, seat again, and roof, fridge, seal.
Yeah.
So, what? You sure it was C, as in you know.
Yeah, he's going to tell us
swimming.
the rest of the story. He's going to get round to the sea.
I'm just saying my week it revolves around these 3 words. There's not an actual place called it. I just said it was like that app that gives out the 3 words.
It's like it. There's me getting excited thinking, oh, I get to test it out and try. So, no? Oh, right, okay. I'll just put that down then.
Jesus.
So,
all right, Grandad.
Let's move on to fridge, or as it says on my sweaty hand, bridge, which is not good. So, fridge. When did this happen? So, this happened on Tuesday last week, a little bit before recording, actually. And we've had all the drama of the roof for quite some time now, which is stressing us out to the max. And then we come home, and the light in the fridge is on. Everything seems to be running fine, but it's warmer in there. You're like, that's not good. Open it up, have a look around, right? Check on the thermostat. It's a bit warmer than it should be. That's not good. Check in the freezer. Everything's a bit soft. This this ain't good either.
Oh,
I played this game myself.
Yeah.
Did we not just shut the door properly?
Oh, yeah, that's the first. So we close the doors, make sure they're sealed, leave it for an hour. Let's see what happens. And we hear this little tick noise, which is a thermostat switch turning on and off the compressor, and the compressor's getting way too hot. But it sounds like there's no gas left in the system, and it's all gone a bit seized up. So the fridge died. Because everyone wants that to happen in November, just before Christmas. Why wouldn't you? And especially after you've just had a delivery.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. I'll be honest. But on the plus side, at least it's cold enough to leave some of the stuff outside, isn't it?
Yeah, this is true. Yeah,
I mean, just trying to look on the sunny side and be, but failing obviously.
Let's try to look on the sunny side. We knocked on our neighbour's door, and they luckily had enough room in their freezer to lend us a tray, so we used a bit of space in their freezer. So thank you to next door for that. They'll never listen to this, but. So,
we barely do. Darren's proved that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I had to buy a new one of them. That turned up today, went in all right. Everything's tickety-boo on that front now. So thank goodness.
Right.
And the sea. The sea. So
and the sea.
I went down to, I think Wednesday I went down to Hastings, and Monday and Tuesday I went down to Hastings. And Monday, it was pissing it down.
Yeah.
So I didn't go onto the beach or anything like that. But Tuesday I got down there early, pulled up in the car park, and the car park is on the seafront. You step over this little pebble wall and you are on the pebble beach.
Right.
And it was glorious out. And so I thought, I'm just going to take 5 minutes just to walk down, breathe in a bit of sea air. Can't do me any harm, can it? So I walk down to the front, doing all the breathing, and maybe I can get invigorated for the day and look forward to things. And I would take a photo, and I took a photo of the sea washing up on the beach. And as I did it, I did my very best Neil Kinnock impression, where it washes over your feet, you try and run away, and then stack it.
So now you're just lying there in the sea.
Yeah.
Nice.
Soaking wet.
Nice. Absolutely beautiful.
Go
Great
ahead.
work.
Flipping hell. Why can't I get a break?
recreating the opening 5 minutes of Inception. Waking up on the shore of a limbo. Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
there you go.
There you go. So, and did you carry on to your work after that? Or?
I did.
Yeah.
There was just around Hastings. There was these 2 footprints, just wet footprints everywhere, just dripping wet. I was like, oh, do you know what? I just need to do it. Need to do this and get home.
Just slopping around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you can hear was...
Nice. Good work.
Beautiful, man.
So, very stressful week, and I'm glad to see the back end of it.
On the plus side, at least you didn't get hypothermia from the water and the cold. And
Once
being in
again,
close
looking
clothes.
at the plus sides.
Look at the plus sides, my friend. See, that's me. I'm a happy, sunny, shiny person. You know me. Always positive. Always with a positive outlook. I'm there for you, man.
Thank goodness that orca didn't stray up thinking I was a seal.
Yeah. It was. Yeah, there was reports of a man eating kraken in the area, and it didn't take you out. I think
I class that as a win.
I got to class that as a win. I would. Just and you got a refreshing toe wash as well. Look at the bright sides.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You are absolutely welcome.
And that wraps up my week.
That
there
wraps
we go.
up your week. Okay, right. Well, fair enough. Well, we move from soggy Elton because let's be honest, fridge melting, roof with water in it, and in the sea. We've done. We're doing the elements, aren't we?
Oh God, yeah. Everything involves water there, doesn't it?
It does. You're Aquaman.
Hang on. So what was Jim? Was he Earth?
Yeah. Well, he's using radioactive elements and stuff like that. So that's Earth. We had radioactive arse eggs,
which is wind as well.
Which is wind. So we've had air and earth.
Air and earth.
There you go. So Darren, over to you for fire.
Yeah, well, compared to Jim's week, mine's pretty light and fluffy, really, I suppose. Next year we've got a holiday booked. We're going off to Rhodes for like a week.
Which road? The M4?
This road's over here, mate.
Yeah.
It's King Edward's close. Don't worry, I'll lose him in the next turning. No. Yeah, so next year we've got a holiday. First holiday in like 6 years, this will be when it comes to that point. We're all really looking forward to it, to go to Rhodes. And we got a message from EasyJet saying, oh, we've cancelled your flight. You're no longer on that flight that you were going to be on from Gatwick, which is not very far from where we live. Okay. What we've done is we're sending you now to Luton. So thanks very much. Goodbye. I'm like, no, you fucking ain't. So I got on their website and it's a free move of the flight. You can move it to wherever. So I'm desperately looking around for this. I can't see any other flights on that day with EasyJet that are going to Rhodes, right? And I'm thinking, what the fuck has gone on here? So we've booked the holiday through a company called Love Holiday, right? And this is they've booked the flight for us and they've booked the hotel. But if anything happens with the flight, we've got to deal with that ourselves. Okay, so they're not really that much in control. Where the hotel's concerned, they can do something about that. But where the flight's concerned, if we need to change it or whatever, or if there's something happens, we've got to take it upon ourselves to get this sorted.
Okay.
What I'm thinking is, it's like, okay, Love Holiday probably won't get back to us straight away, so I'm going to have to do something to make sure we still keep the holiday for that week. So out of desperation, I looked on the day before, and I could see there were flights going. I thought, right, I'll get the day before, and we'll come home the day before we were going to come home, and I'll talk to Love Holiday and get them to change the dates at the hotel.
Yeah.
Now, you can see that there's like, you can change anything in the hotel you like up until about 3 days before you're due to arrive there.
Right.
Which I thought, all right, that's great, excellent. So first of all, I go on to rebook the flight. Right. I book it I go in and I go over and I'm triple checking it. And I'm thinking, yes, this is it. I've got it. I've done it. I okay it. And it says on there, once you book this in, right, once you've taken this free offer to change the flight, then that's it. Anything you do after that, you get charged for.
Yeah.
So I went, yep, fine. that's okay. And I press okay, and then it brings up the summary of what I've just picked. And I've been concentrating so hard that what I've done is I've booked a flight to go on the 11th, and I've booked the flight to come home on the 11th.
Oh,
right? And I just stood there, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm not joking. This is what I do. This is me. I can't help myself. I'm just standing there. I'm just repeating the word fuck. And it's like, what are they going to charge me? Oh, fuck. So it's like, I've got to get this fixed. Before I tell Ree, right? And so I'm desperately trying to get through. And I phone them up, right? And I'm thinking, oh no, come on, maybe they'll take pity on me. Maybe they're all right. They're not Ryanair. Maybe they'll be fine. Okay, because I've heard like, you know, people have been okay with EasyJet. They've had an okay time with them when there's been a mistake. Mm-hmm. So I phone them up and I'm waiting on the line. I am anxiety sick, right now. I'm not joking. It's like the world has come to an end, or it is about to. Okay, yeah. I can see the portal. Yep. For me, it's like fucking the end of Donnie Darko. I can see the portal through the dark dimension opening up in the sky. Right?
Don't go towards light, carry on.
Exactly. My plane is flying towards it. Right, the fucking engine's come off. It's gone through back in time. Right. So anyway, and you know what it's like. You phone them up. It's like, you are number 72 in the queue, and it's like 72. And so it's like, this is not, I don't need to hear 72 in the queue in my state, because I'm getting worse and worse as I'm listening to it, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm going, Darren, stop, think, focus. Oh, okay, I'm focusing, but it's still not doing me much good.
Yeah.
Anyway, to cut a long story short, I get through. Finally, I get through to someone. And they talk to me and they're like, oh, yeah, okay, well, we'll try and help you sort this out. And they said to me, are you a club member? And I'm like, no, I'm not a club member. She goes, oh, you've come through to the wrong number. Oh. And she goes, don't worry, I can give you the number to ring. And she repeats back to me the number that I've actually phoned. Because I'm doing this through Teams. I've phoned through Teams and I can see the number sitting there on screen. And I said, but that's the number I've just phoned. And she's like, oh, well, it must have redirected you wrong. And I'm thinking, for fuck's sake, can you not just put me through? Mm-hmm. And she had, no, I can't put you through. You're going to have to ring this number. So I'm like, all right, fine. So, and I'm going through the 7 stages of grief as I'm going through this day, right? Okay, it's like that thing of anger and stuff like this, and it's slowly creeping towards, what's the next? Is it the like acceptance and stuff like that, right? So I'm trying to convince myself that everything's going to be okay.
This will be fine.
This will be fine, and it's not. I'm not convincing myself at all. Darren, you're shit at this. Stop talking. Okay, just stop talking to yourself because you're not convinced. So finally, I get through to EasyJet and I explained to the woman on the end of the phone there what's happened, and God bless her, I think she might have, shall we say, been economical with the truth to her boss, because I didn't get charged at all, and she managed to make the changes that we wanted, right? So it's like I said to her, do you have any feedback forms that you send out? Yeah. She went, yeah, there's probably one with the mail that you receive. And I'm like, don't worry, you're getting whatever the top score is, you're getting that. Okay, this is fine. You're getting the top score. You will get a pay rise at some point, I'm sure, because my one score will make all the difference to your employment future. It really will. Yeah. It will carry that much weight.
Yeah, she's sitting there going, oh, thank you so much. The extra 0.1 of a percentage point my score goes up by will
no in the additional information I shall put a missive that would impress even fucking Orson Welles himself. That's what I will put. Yes, I will.
Nice.
So anyway, so I go back to Love Holiday, and there's no phone number to get through to, right? So, or not that I can see. There is a roundabout convoluted voodoo spell that you have to cast to find the number, right? There's certain things that need to be in place. It's like the fucking craft, right? Okay, you have to do certain things to kick off the response. Right now, I didn't realise what that was to begin with, and I've just put in. We've had to change. There was one button I pushed, and it's telling them that there's been a change to the flight. Right?
Yeah.
Or that you're changing the hotel dates, and I explained in there what was wrong, and I had nothing for a few days.
Yeah.
Right. Then I found the bit where it's got you've changed your flight. So I thought, all right, well, I'll go there. As soon as I put the information in there, within a day, we got a response. Right. So they said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, look, we need to get the hotel booked for these set of dates.
Yeah.
And I went, fine, no problem. We'll go and have a word, and we'll have a chat with the hotel.
Yeah.
A few days goes by, and they get back to us, and they've spoken to the hotel, and the hotel have said no. Would you like to know? No? Would you like to know why they've said no?
Why have they said no?
Okay, we were originally going to go on the 12th of April, right?
Yeah.
To this place.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said we needed it for the 11th. Apparently, the hotel is not going to be open on the 11th at all. So, it's now it's like, oh fuck! But now it's got to the point where it's a Benson and Hedges moment.
Yeah,
where it's that you just like, you just lie back and just think, fuck it.
Yeah. Well,
but it's what do we do? And
yeah,
it's just, Ree's obviously not happy. I'm not happy. We're trying to enjoy our day off. I'm trying to enjoy watching the film as well, this week's film, right?
Are you just propping up that this film's going to be poorly reviewed because...
No. I'm not going to tell you what my review is or whether it was poorly or not. We just had to deal with this problem.
Yeah.
In the end, we ended up cancelling with Love Holiday, who apparently, out of the £540 that we paid, let's see, how much was the flight? I think it was something like 420. We got something like 130 quid we're getting back out of them. Right?
Sorry?
We were paying month by month, right?
Right.
So they've taken some administration fees and they're sending some of it back. We've now booked another holiday, this time with Booking.com, which is, if anything happens, we can get help with it like that. Okay, yep. I can cancel the hotel. We don't have to pay until we get there. Mm-hmm. So this is a much better situation.
So the takeaway of the whole thing is book with a reputable company and don't go cheap.
Yeah, well, just go with. I mean, I wish we'd gone with something like Thompson's. Was it the TU? Because they were really good. When we went, TUI, they were really, really good. Those guys. When we went to Lanzarote, they had an actual physical representative on at the actual resort, and they were excellent. They really were, and we had no problem with them whatsoever. Had an absolutely fantastic holiday in Lanzarote due to those guys, being organised. With this, I can't say I would recommend going through Love Holiday at all, because you're powerless. You're literally powerless. It is in the lap of the gods. And what I want to know is, how can you cancel a fucking flight 6 months before the tyres have even got anywhere near the fucking runway?
Well,
that's one for Arthur C. Clarke. I think bullshit or not, you decide.
Yeah, who knows? Who
knows? Who fucking knows?
Who knows? Sharp. That's why.
Indeed. Well, anyway, apart from that anxiety-ridden fucking week that we had there, especially with me thinking the world was coming to an end at one point because of what I'd done.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The world would come to an end because Ree would end it for you.
Exactly.
because you're cock up.
Yeah, the only place you're going on holiday, mate, is 6 foot under there. No.
Is the hospital.
Yeah, it's the hospital, yes.
Yeah.
This is the Lanzarote ward, or should I say the Rhodes ward.
Yep.
There we go. But no. Anyway, moving on from that, something a little bit more relaxed. I did watch 2 films this week. I took a chance and watched The King's Man.
Oh yes,
which is one in the series. I've got to say, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Really?
Apart from one bit. Okay, there is I've got like a 14-year-old in the room, and I'm like, do I want them in the room while this is going on? Because I'm not even sure what's going on when I'm seeing on screen. In the actual film, the historical figure of Rasputin is involved in this, right? In a nefarious plot to bring down Western civilization, right? And there is a whole scene between Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, and this, I can't remember the Welsh actor's name.
Rhys Ifans.
Rhys Ifans, who's playing this, this version of Rasputin. There is a whole scene where Rasputin offers to fix Ralph Fiennes' damaged leg. He during the war, I think, he took a bullet in the leg. He takes a bullet in the leg at the beginning of the film, and Rasputin offers to fix it for him. And it ends up with him licking the wound.
Yes,
and it is so fucking odd.
Yeah,
the whole
he's
thing.
a bit hands-on, isn't he?
It's just, it's like, wow. It's the weirdest part of the film, but it just doesn't sit right with the rest of the movie. It really doesn't, because everything else is just a straightforward, two-fisted, stiff upper lip, sort of like adventure, which I really enjoyed. I don't care how fucking impossible some of the stuff might have been. I just went with it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So, The Kingsman. If you're a fan of the Kingsman series, then this is kind of where the whole thing begins.
Yeah.
And you learn where all that kind of stuff comes from, and why they chose the tailor shop and all that kind of thing, and where like Arthur and Guinevere and Merlin and all that lot, all those names, why they're associated. So, not a bad film at all.
Okay.
So, straight after that, watch something else. A film called My Cousin Vinny. Have you ever watched that?
Good Lord.
Long time ago.
I've never seen this, and Ree said, give it a watch. Go on. She was shocked that I hadn't seen it. She went, give it a watch. Have a watch of it. And again, I actually really quite enjoyed it. For anybody that doesn't know, it starts off with Ralph Macchio and another guy. They're travelling across country for some reason. Can't remember what. But they stop off at like a petrol station on a highway, grab some stuff, some food, and they are off on their way. And about 10 minutes after that happens, they get stopped by the police and arrested for murder. And it shows you back at the petrol station, and there's the guy that had served them earlier on, laying there in a pool of blood. Now, Ralph Macchio phones his mother and says to her, look, we've been arrested for this. There's this whole convoluted thing about them thinking that it's all to do with Ralph Macchio putting this can of beans in his pocket and forgetting to pay for it. So he's confessing they're like, do you confess to the crime? And he's like, yeah, well, I'm really sorry about that, but, I wasn't concentrating when I was doing it. And everybody's looking shocked at him. And then they reveal that this is actually for murder. And he's already kind of confessed to the crime.
Yeah.
So anyway, to cut a long story short, he phones his mum, and his mum tells him that his cousin, Vinny, is actually a lawyer. And it turns out Vinny has been, all he does is accident claims. And he's been practicing law for about 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's telling his mate, look, don't worry. I know that Vinny doesn't seem that experience, but nobody argues a point like that side of my family. And it just goes from there. Now, I know for some this might seem like a light and fluffy movie, but in this one film there was more court procedure stuff going on and actual badgering witnesses and stuff like this than the whole of She-Hulk. Right? The whole of that series in this one film, they really get down to it. And just watching him take down all the witnesses who supposedly were there when this murder took place is actually really good to watch. It's a lot of fun to watch him just go to town on it. So I'm really glad I watched it.
Cool.
I know a lot of people actually go on about it and say, yeah, it's a really enjoyable film. It's like, I really like that film. And I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why.
Nice. Well, welcome to the 1990s, Dal.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Late to the Party. Yes.
Late to the party by almost 20 or 30 years. Yeah, it's good, though. I'm glad you catch up with it, though. It's good.
Yes, that's all right. So there we go.
Oh, right.
So we come to the final thing.
The final thing.
The final thing that we did done this week.
Yeah.
I went to a lecture last night
Okay.
for the psychology of serial killers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because Ree's very interested in that. She went, should we go? There's a talk going on.
Yeah.
Do you want to come along? Should we go for it? And I went, yeah, okay, let's give it a go. Let's see what it's like. Now, it's billed as being something like 2 hours and 20 minutes long, this whole lecture. Right? So it's like, well, what are they going to talk about? And I looked up the actual event, and it's like, I'm looking at what's going to be talked about, and it's like, yeah, I think there's enough to fill 2 hours out of that lot.
Yeah.
Yes, wow, I've eyes opened to a lot of stuff, a lot of things that there's an awful lot of things about serial killers that I never knew.
Where was this held, by the way?
This was in Dorking,
Oh,
the
right.
Dorking halls. And the person, I can't remember, I'll look it up. I'll probably put it on the Facebook group. But the person that was doing the talk is like, she is a forensic scientist. She's been involved in a lot of cases and stuff like that. And she was just going through all this stuff. And one thing I will mention is she talked about the person who was the supposed inspiration for the character of Dexter in the show Dexter.
Oh, right.
It's a guy called Pedro Rodriguez Fillo. And what it was, when he was 14 years old, his dad got wrongly accused of stealing meat from a school.
Right.
And so his son got upset about this. He was 14 at the time. And not only did he murder the security guard who supposedly dobbed him in, right? But he then went after the mayor's assistant who fired him and killed him on the steps of the actual mayor's office right there.
Right.
Executed him.
So he wasn't impressed then, is what you're saying?
No, he wasn't. No, not at all. Right?
Yeah.
So he got put in prison for that. Now, he got quite a name for himself, and he got a lot into the sort of like the world of gangs and stuff. And because of that, of course, if you're in a gang, you become quite successful, then you've got other gangs that are going to be, rifling for power in there. And so what happened was some members of a rival gang broke into his house while him and his wife were in there. They beat them both quite badly. Pedro managed to escape, but they murdered his wife. And so what he did was he tracked down every member that was involved in that, and he slaughtered them. Every single one.
Sounds like Kaiser Soze. I don't know about Dexter.
Well, this is the thing, you see. I think there was a case of I think it was one of them he learned was a rapist as well. Oh. And if there's one crime that really kind of ignited the anger in him, it's rapists. That's it. He's got a real thing about them. So he went around, he murdered him, and I think he murdered a few more as well. Because when he got into prison, I'm pretty sure she said that there were deaths in there that he'd been involved in. And they mostly involved, I think it was rapists. He was going around killing those.
Right.
Anyway.
Nice and cheery, this whole thing, isn't it?
Well, this...
keep it light.
I'm not finished yet.
I'm
not finished yet, right? He learned that his dad had murdered his mum, right? He loved his mum an awful lot. And so what happened was his dad got arrested and put into the same prison as him.
Oh, God.
Can you tell where this is going?
A family reunion and a hug, and everyone hugged it out, and they were all happy together, and they had tea and biscuits and cake, and they all went home in the end, and they were smiling.
A family reunion was right, but not a happy family reunion. Oh, that was right.
I'm shocked.
He did. From what I know, if I remember rightly, I think he did his own version of the Red Wedding as well. Because he went, one of the gang members that came and did these. I'm pretty sure it was one of the gang members that came and did the actual attack on his house was having a wedding, and he killed a few people at a wedding and injured 17 of them as well.
That was careless.
Yeah,
I was going to say, did he miss a few, or he's just in a rush?
No. So anyway, after all this, while he was in prison, after he served his term, they released him, right? So
what
he's
term?
out there.
I mean, he's killed pretty much everyone within like an arm's reach. How's
Well,
he served a term?
Yeah. It's basically the laws of where he was put in, whichever country it was. I can't remember now.
Where is it? Murderland.
Anyway, he got released,
right?
And he was on a podcast about serial killers, talking about his life, and he now runs his own YouTube channel, where he's trying, or his message out there to people is he's trying to stop young people from joining gangs. So he's actually trying to do some good in his life. Not that, he's done an awful lot of bad stuff.
I was going to say, he's got a bit of work to do, and he's to wipe that ledger clean.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of red on the ledger there. But it's the whole thing of him going after criminals, which is what kind of inspired Dexter character, which is what Dexter does. His dad trained him up to actually, we know you've got this inside you, son, but we need to use this weapon and point it in the right direction. Because his dad being ex policeman. So, look him up. There's a whole wiki page on him as a person.
Is he on the CBeebies website or what?
No, he's what is it? No, there is just a wiki page out there. So it's Pedro Rodriguez Filo, spelled Filho.
Right. I don't think I even want him to gain my attention by looking at one of my clicks. Yeah, to be honest.
Well, surprisingly, he is not the worst one that they talked about.
Good Lord.
There's others who are. Well, let's see now. What was it? There was one guy an extremely prolific serial killer. Another guy called Pedro, and the woman did say, "Look, this is to anybody called Pedro in the audience. I'm not trying to target you," she said. So this is just a coincidence, seriously. But there was one guy who got caught for something. He got put in a prison, and they sent a supposed priest round to do confessions for somebody. Now this bloke has killed. He's racked up a lot of kills in his time, right? This one bloke, and when the person doing the actual lecture said, after 3 or 4 hours of confession, and I snorted when she said that, because it's like 3 or 4 fucking hours. How many people has he killed? Apparently, he went into one town and he started killing kids.
Oh, for God's
right?
sakes!
Now, there was a flood in the town, and of course, it's moved a lot of earth.
Right.
And they found 50 bodies that he alone had taken out.
Right.
Yeah. So really fucking, and that's not his only, they're not his only kills. Right. That's just in this one town that he went to, where he was, kidnapping children and offing them.
Right.
It's just, I sat there with my fucking mouth open.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. I'm looking around. When I snorted, it sounded like I laughed, but it was like, no, honest people.
Yeah.
It just caught me so by surprise when she came out with that. It was just, what the fucking hell?
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah. And of course, then she went into the reasons why supposed people do this sort of thing. Yeah. And she talked about one scientist who was trying to figure all this out. Right. And they got to the point where they found that activity in the temporal lobe at the front of the brain. All right. Most serial killers have a lack of activity in the frontal lobe. This is what helps them do what they do. So anyway, he's interviewed a lot of prisoners and he's got them to go in for scans and stuff like this. He's getting all the information, but he's finding he hasn't got a test group, right? He hasn't got like normal people that don't do this sort of thing for a living. So he started badgering his family about that, and they all came in for scans, did their thing. And he's going through their records. He's not seeing the names of who the scans belong to. And he notices that there's one person in the family scans that's got very little activity in the frontal lobe. He's like, who the hell is this? It's from my family. Which one of my family members has got this? And so he went against the rules and he broke the seal on the records and he found the serial number that's associated with the name. And he looked through the names and the name was his.
Jesus.
So he went home to his mum and he told her about this. And she went, well, I'm not surprised you come from a family that's got killers in it. And he's like, I beg your pardon? And yeah, apparently there was one guy in the family that offed a few people, and he found out he was also related to Lizzie Borden as well. I think Jim could probably, I know of Lizzie Borden. I know she was, I think there's Jim, you know who Lizzie Borden is, don't you?
Yes, she was a notorious murder case where she killed her mother or father. There's a skipping rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks.
And then something gave her mother 40.
And then the mother came along and gave her mother 40 long one. Yeah.
So, and apparently the reason why he was, because he's never done anything like that. He's never gone ahead and wanted to kill anybody. And apparently it was all because of the way his mother brought him up. That he was quite a normal chap, because whenever he did anything wrong, she used to sit him down and make him think about things that he'd done and to think about how it affected the person that he'd done them to, if he'd upset someone. And because of that is why he turned out, it was like a moral training. So this is why he turned out quite normal and not an axe-wielding maniac.
Right.
So, yeah, there you go. And it was a lot more that I can't remember it all, but that was just a snippet.
What do you mean you can't remember it all?
No, there was a lot more. No, trust me on this. There was a lot more to that evening. You got to learn the types of killers as well, what the difference is between them. Like, what's the difference between a mass murderer? What do they call the other one? There's
spree killers,
and serial killers, and there is a difference. There is a major difference between each one. Mass murderer kills loads of people in one area. A spree killer walks around and different areas killing people. So it will be something like Dunblane, that kind of thing. That will be a spree killer, and of course, a serial killer is someone who will. I think the definition is you've got to have killed more than, in some places it's you killed 2 or more people, in some places it's 3 or more.
Was it like a fucking Xbox achievement or something?
Yeah, a really dark one,
Right.
And it's not always true that serial killers stop when they get found out or when they die. Some of them just stop killing altogether for one reason or another. They just don't go back to it. Which is probably what happened to somebody like Jack the Ripper. He probably got to a point where something happened in his life and he was like, I'm done with this.
Yeah. You know what? I think I've done enough.
Yeah. Well, that's my work done. I'm off.
Yeah. Anyway, now the shopping.
Yeah. It's, so there we go. That was that lecture.
Right. Lovely.
Yeah, I did leave that place looking at everybody in a new light that was in there, though. There were one or two, there were one or two individuals I had real... And it was funny, when I went to the bar, I realised I'm walking around. I've got a black hoodie on, black jeans, and black walking boots, and I'm thinking, I look like I'm about to go off, and I'm trying to look as friendly as possible, but I'm thinking, well, hold on. One of the things is a serial killer is really kind of, one of the things that some of them are known for is to be quite charming and quite friendly towards people because it lures them in. It's like, oh, fuck, what do I do? Do I look grumpy? And
just tell them about this bloody speech. this thing. It's like, I don't want to be charming. Okay, right, fine. Did you know that serial killers are coming like X amount of types? Did you remember there's a guy who killed so many people that they actually had to wash the entire town away with a flood to find the body? Like, yeah, that'll. I'm just going to go over there. I'll leave you alone. I'll be fine. I know you're not a serial killer, but I'm going to go get a drink.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was educated. I was, yes.
Well, and next week on Serial Killers,
and then I just watched Looney Tunes for the rest of the night just to cheer myself up.
Yeah, Looney Tunes. I think you'd heard all about them in the discussion beforehand, the lecture beforehand.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes. Anyway, didn't fly, did it? Right. No. Okay. I dare ask anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Right. Well, compared to all of your things, I've got 3 things written down on my list.
Let's see. Your 3 words on the map are toss, pot, wank. Yes, is that it?
Yeah, exactly.
3 words have brought you this week.
Yeah. No, the first one. This morning, I finished watching the final episode of Andor, of the series, which I thought was very good. And as a public information thing, let me just say, stay to the end of the end credits. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it right there.
It's not Boba Fett turning up, is it? Looking at the camera.
I'm not saying a word. I'm saying nothing.
I was in Star Wars, don't you know?
I'm saying nothing.
Well, I am now.
But it essentially it's something that links back to the rest of the show, and then it just gives you a little reveal at the end, a little sort of chef's kiss on the end, and it's quite nice. I like that. And I only found
you were okay with the ending, yes? Because I saw a review. I didn't read the whole review. I just saw like the the catch line at the beginning. So the final episode of Thing, and it really wasn't worth the.
It depends whether or not you see it as a single story or whether you see it as like the first half of a 2-parter, because they're only making one more season and then it goes straight into Rogue One.
Right, okay.
So as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really end on a cliffhanger. It just kind of just ends. It's like, this is part 1 of a 2-part story.
Got you.
The only thing I kind of really wish at this point is that Disney did a thing where you can watch all of the episodes back to back without having to go through all the credits and the post rolls and all that kind of stuff, and just watch it as a film. Because I think it would actually flow a lot better like that. But because every single episode, it's like an old style TV drama. It kind of, just as it starts to get going, it goes, and then the credits roll, and you're like, no, I want to watch the rest of it. And
right,
I think
how many episodes were there?
8, I think.
Oh, so it's only 8. I thought it was like 10 or 12.
8 or 10 or something like that. I'll tell you. Hold on, I'll tell you shortly.
Sure.
But hold on, Andor. But no, I mean, I mean, a lot of people have said this, so it's not 12 episodes. There you go. A lot of people have said this, but I think it's actually right. I think the greatest strength of Andor, once it gets going, and then, like I say, I will confess it took me a long time to get into it, but the greatest strength of it is when it finally decides it doesn't matter that it's Star Wars, it's just a guy trying to make his way through, or a series of characters trying to make their way through a fascist universe.
Right.
And once you kind of let go of the fact that you're not going to see bounty hunters, and you're not going to see Boba Fett, and you're not going to see Darth Vader and the usual trappings of Star Wars. Although you do see an X-wing and you do see a Star Destroyer and a TIE fighter or two, but that's about the size of it.
Yeah.
Once you get to that, it's just like you just treat it like a spy thriller instead, set in any universe rather than Star Wars. I think that's when it's at its strongest.
Right.
And I have to say it did take me a while to warm up, but by the end of it, I enjoyed it a lot. And like I say, I don't feel like it had a proper cliffhanger, which I think may have pissed a lot of people off. But the end credit sequence kind of just goes kind of like, and that's why we were over here doing this thing. And you're like, oh, okay, that's quite cool. And that's the end of it. It just throws a few more things into context, but it's not essential. If you miss it, you miss it. It's fine. So I watched that. I thought that was quite good. I watched something that I think, if you haven't watched it already, Jim, I think you would be very interested in, which is Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities.
Oh, yes. Tanned a lot of them ages ago.
I absolutely... I started watching them on Thursday, and I finished the lot by Saturday. I absolutely caned them. It was a series on Netflix, and it's like kind of cross between Creepshow, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, all with this kind of gothic horror vibe kind of cut right through it. Except for episode 7, which was done by the director of Mandy, and it has a completely different vibe. I think you'll agree, Jim, if you've seen it.
Yes, very much so.
It's a very, very strange one, to say the least. But there's some really, really good ones, and they've got some really good directors in. So like the last one called The Murmuring is by Jennifer Kent, who did The Babadook. And that's really cool, a cool ghost story. And then there's another one called Outside, which is done by I can't remember the director of The Girl Who Walks Home at Night.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, I can't remember. I know her surname is Amanpour, but yeah. So and that was quite a good one. Nice little nasty little thing about I don't know, trying to fit in and also trying to glam yourself up and be something you're not. That's very cool. And it does have that one a lot. Yeah, and it does have a fantastic turn by Dan Stevens as a sort of like a white-haired clinician on the telly who speaks all like this. It's kind of, and you must try this cream. If it hurts, that means it works. And it has peptides and riptides. All this kind of thing. It's a very strange episode, but it is quite cool. And all of them are quite cool, even the weakest ones. But
a very strong season overall, I thought.
It was. It had great acting. It had people. In every episode, there's always someone you go, I remember them. And the direction is always good, and the twist in the tail is always good. The monster creature effects when they come out are pretty damn good. Yeah, I mean, and you can dip into them in any way you like. Yeah, the only one I'd say is just lay off the booze and the drugs when you get to episode 7. The viewing, because Peter Weller lays on the drugs pretty heavy, and in it
he does it for you.
He does it for you. He certainly
don't need any more. You don't need to add to it.
No, and I thought the Eldritch Light Orchestra had been working on the old soundtrack there, Jim, as well. It's got some proper synth going on, isn't it? On the old
proper
soundtrack.
70s synth, yeah.
Proper 70s synth. So that's well worth a look. It's on Netflix. The Cabinet of Curiosities, and each episode is introduced by Guillermo del Toro himself. So it's got that kind of little introduction.
Twilight Zone, Rod Serling, Night Gallery, Firefall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's well worth a look. It's probably the last time I've watched something on Netflix and watched it all the way through, as opposed to getting halfway through and going, fuck it, I can't be bollocks. The only other thing is, following our Mastodon conversation last week, finally, Black Dog has finally settled on a server, and it will remain there. So if anybody is on Mastodon and wants to follow us, or rather me, on Mastodon, I am on Black Dog Podcast at podcasts.social. There you go. And we'll just be posting up there. We are not posting on Twitter anymore because fuck Twitter. Just fuck it, and it's great big bin fire of trolls all saying, "Yay, we're being trolls." I just can't be doing with it. I didn't get rid of the account. The Black Dog Podcast account on Twitter is still there, but all tweets are protected and all following has stopped. So it's just a dead account, just holding the name, really. And that's that. So we are not on Twitter anymore, or rather, I'm not on Twitter anymore. But I am on Mastodon because I am enjoying it. I'm warming up to it.
I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. Because
yeah,
I'm trying to get set up, and it's just like I got so fucked off with trying to get on there. It's like I can't be bothered with this,
dude.
I just walked away.
Yeah, the learning curve of the first hour of fucking about with it is definitely something which is a barrier to entry. But everything just seems a lot more chill, and I'm a lot happier about being on Mastodon, being in groups of people who are of the same mind. So I'm on the podcasts.social group, and while most of them are German, hello everyone out there on the podcasts social group, there are English posters and American posters and, multinational posters. So, that's nice, but you can find us there anyway. You can find us on your server wherever you are.
Actually, it seems I have been set up.
Yeah, there you go.
But I followed an invitation from Neil Gaiman, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Name drop. There you go.
Yep, there you go.
So,
that we are.
But that's my week. That's been my week entirely. I won't go into anything else because, frankly, anything else will only bring the mood down. And you know how cheerful we've all been so far. So I think we'll just leave it there. Well, last week we do some feedback. Last week, we did review the Gentleman, which you may remember. We did end up liking a lot more than we thought, except for Elton, who actually liked it less than he thought, which I thought was quite interesting. But yeah, so we went to see. We asked for some feedback, and people have fed back, but they've done it via my Facebook page instead of the Black Dog Facebook page, because we had Gary Barrett, who said, "I have to say I really enjoyed this," while Laura Fox said, I was pleasantly surprised by this, and I was expecting just another Guy Ritchie paint-by-numbers job. While Zarish Catlin Hallett actually said, "I do wonder if he spends a year or two eavesdropping in East End pubs, collecting one-liners till he's got enough for a film, then mashes the plot around those one-liners." It's fair dues, I think. I can't argue with that. He does actually own a pub, so what can you say? On the actual Black Dog Facebook group, the feedback we got was someone called Teresa Burnside. Do you know them, Jim?
It rings a vague bell.
I thought so. She was fascinated by the conversation about Copic pens that me and Elton had last week.
I wasn't too sure whether that was fascinating or fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was the latter, to be honest. No. Whereas David Renane, Happy Dave Renane, said, "Damn it, guys, I enjoy Artist Corner, but I've only got just bought the Wacom pen that I was going on about before when we couldn't pronounce Wacom or Wacom. Wacom.
Hang on.
And he also... hang on. No, stop it. Steady. He also went on to say that he missed
just cancelled Karate Kid.
That's it. Yeah, whack on, whack off. Oh, hang on. This is Mr. Miyagi. What are you doing? I'm stuck in the fence. No, not the chopsticks. Anyway. No, when I thought you said you were going to catch flies, I mean, oh no. Anyway, so David Renane also went on to say, "I missed the part. We missed the part I was really after, which was Elton's Strains update. Well, hopefully today has updated you on that. It's now Elton's Mastic Marathon. for going forward. And finally, we have David Jackola of the Dark Corner podcast, DJ Evil Dave on Twitter, and I think that on Mastodon as well. And he wrote just in a little bit, because Darren, you went to see Evanescence, didn't you, last week?
That's right, yeah.
And we were trying to work out what brand of music it was, what genre it was. And he wrote in to say that the genre for Evanescence and Within Temptation is usually called, or typically called, symphonic metal.
Right. I knew it was something like that, operatic rock or something.
And includes the likes of Nightwish as well.
Yes. Oh, Nightwish. I'll tell you what, the lead singer of Nightwish, she's got an absolutely amazing voice, that woman.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
I know. Who had a set of lungs on your bingo card there?
Yeah, set of lungs. I'll tell you what, I think she's also the tallest member in the entire band. And they've also got like this bloke in Nightwish who's about 4'5", and seeing those two stand next to one another on stage is like, what?
Yeah. I'm looking at a photo of them now. I'm sure I've seen them at a Ren fair somewhere. Anyway, So Dave also went on to say, speaking of Amy Lee, and then he has a link of her covering a Korn song called "Thoughtless," which is also on. So there you go. So check that out. That's on the Facebook group. So there you go. So ladies and gentlemen, there you go. There's the feedback. We had actually a lot, but it was just sort of scattered across the four winds. If anybody wants to leave any feedback, you can go over to the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. Leave some feedback under the episode. Or you can get in contact with us now on Mastodon by @ing us at Black Dog Podcast at podcasts.social. There you go. Just trips off the tongue, doesn't it?
Oh, God, yeah.
Black Dog Podcast at podcasts.social. And finally, you can get in contact with us also the old way on the email, which is feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. Right. Done. Done. That's the first half of the podcast. It's only taken us 3 hours. But let's roll the jingle, Constable, and get in the car, and don't leap to any conclusions. Take down some notes, and let's go and talk about See How They Run. Roll the jingle.
I see it's nearly 5 o'clock. I'm here at home, my work's all done. No question where I'll be tonight, a place of cinematic fun. It's the lockdown, but I will not pout. Oh, my friends, I won't be seeing this out alone. There's Lee and Elton and Jim and Darren, all sitting far apart for social distance. We're at the shut-in cinema, down in the bunker of shun. Down in the bunker of shun.
Hey fellas, it's been nearly 5 years. You gonna let me out now or what?
No. Right, so See How They Run is a 2022 comedy mystery film directed by Tom George. I have no idea what he's done before. Written by Mark Chappell, produced by Damien Jones, and stars Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, Adrian Brody, Ruth Wilson, Reece Shearsmith, Harris Dickinson, and David Oelio. The film was released theatrically by Searchlight Pictures because, 20th Century Fox, R.I.P. Thank you very much, Disney. And it was released in the United Kingdom on the 9th of September 2022, and in the States on the 16th of September 2022, and then was released on Disney Plus about 2 weeks ago. The film received generally positive reviews and has grossed how much from a budget that we just don't know? How much do you reckon it made?
Ooh.
Darren, go for it.
Okay, I think it made. I think it made a shovel wielded by a psychotic old person and a big cake.
Right, okie dokie. Elton, what about you?
One floppy axe.
Nice. And Jim, what about you?
I think it made about 15 million scary shop tailors dummies.
yeah, a dozen floppy felt hats. Yeah, actually, it made $21 million. Again, because it's gone to streaming, all the interesting information has been expunged by the Disney gods. Like I say, we have no idea about the budget at all. I don't know whether it's a success or not. Yes, and it was, according to the streaming aggregator Just Watch, See How They Run was the 8th most streamed film across all platforms in the States on the 31st of October. There you go. Mm-hmm. Whether that means anything, I have no idea, because probably the most streamed one was probably, I don't know, some 3,000-pound woman climbing out of a bed or something on streaming, some reality TV nonsense. Anyway, sorry, I saw something called Ancient Histories or something on Netflix, and it was fucking awful. Anyway, maybe I should have done that in my week. Anyway, yes. Who has seen this film and who hasn't? Before today, because I would hope you've seen it all today.
I haven't seen it before, no.
Boy.
I've not seen it before, no.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll go around the table as per normal. I have seen it, but Darren, it is your pick, so yes. you will go last. Go last. So, Elton, what did you think about See How They Run?
I thought it looked terrific.
Mm.
I thought the acting was amazing.
Mm.
What else was there? I'm still undecided on how I feel about this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I didn't find it funny.
Right.
And I was a little bored with it, I'm afraid.
Okay.
But I thought it looked glorious, and it ticks all the boxes for me.
Mm.
But there's just something not quite there.
Okay.
Which is I'm a bit disappointed with.
Cool. Okie dokie. And what about you, Jim?
I enjoyed this. This was kind of as you said when you first watched it, it's a nice tea and biscuits and Sunday night sort of film.
Mm.
I loved the look of it. I think we're getting some really nice sort of period dramas currently, whether it's Nightmare Alley or the Branagh, Agatha Christie's he's been doing. And it's kind of like, yes, this is what CGI was for. You're recreating 1920s London. I like this.
Yeah.
It was a good cast. I say, it was a film I almost smiled through than laughed through.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was quite intrigued by the murder mystery, trying to work out who it is. Because normally with Agatha Christie, she doesn't cheat. If you know what I mean. I didn't get it, but but I just thought it was just a nice sort of big warm blanket of a film for a Sunday night.
Oh, right. Okie dokie. Cool. And for me, obviously, I have seen it. This is my second time watching it. I actually enjoyed it more the second time round. I found, and we won't go into spoilers just yet into the review, but I found that once you knew who done it, you can concentrate on slightly on other elements of the film. which I won't go into just yet, but I will go into once we get talking about it. But I thought I actually liked it. I get what you're saying about Jim with the sort of like smiling rather than laughing. But I found myself actually laughing a little bit more at this time round because I started to pick up on the dad jokes that come whipping past you at 100 mile an hour. Things like, oh, he took a ski to the face and then went downhill from there.
Oh, God, I love that joke.
Stuff like that. And it's just like you start to listen out for them rather than sort of like, what did she say? What did they say? What happened there? So I found some of that stuff actually worked better the second time round. So for me, yeah, it's still a thumbs up. I get what you're saying, Elton, and I'm sure we'll because I'm not always one for Agatha Christie sort of whodunits, but we'll get to talking about that in a minute. But no, for me personally, I thought this was a thumbs up. Totally, I really enjoyed it. So what about you then, Dal?
I really enjoyed watching this. It had me chuckling through a few points in there, and I will definitely agree with what Jim said, that this is, or as I put it, a fluffy jumper film. It is one of those sort of, you watch it to cheer yourself up. It takes you out of the world you're in. I did spot one thing though, that
if it's a spoiler, hold on.
No, it's a mistake they make in terminology.
Go on.
The term serial killer actually wasn't used until the 70s.
You and fucking serial killers, Jesus
I
Christ,
know,
man!
I know.
What is it?
I looked up as I was sitting there watching it. I thought, I don't think they used the term serial killers back then, and I was right. So
think he doth protest too much.
Yeah, indeed. They were called mass murderers back then.
Yeah, okay. I didn't realise we'd become a true crime series.
We are now. This is it.
Nice. Okay, cool. But overall, thumbs up, yeah?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I say, it's a good light film. I love Sam Rockwell in this. Who did I think he was channeling as he was talking? He sounded like another actor when he was talking. I can't remember who it was now. I know I was listening to his voice, and it's like, you sound like this person. And his English accent is impeccable. It really is. I could not fault it at all.
No. It didn't. It doesn't do what. And again, I go back to Cabinet of Curiosities, but there's an episode called Pickman's Model, and Crispin Glover. I don't know where he was supposed to be from, but he was from the Blarney Isles of Boston, somewhere near up Stoke, Scotland way,
just off Spain.
somewhere just south of Cheen. It was very odd. That was a very odd accent. But anyway, yeah, cool, nice. Excellent. Right, well, what we're going to do now is we're going to get into a bit more of a discussion about it. So if anybody else hasn't seen this film, and, we don't want you to be a party to the murder, then, you are now an official accomplice, and it would be best to keep it quiet. So we won't say any spoilers yet, but if anyone goes any further, beware, here be spoilers going forward. If you haven't seen the film, go and watch it. It's on Disney Plus. I think it's still in some local cinemas in London, central London, if you want to go and see it at the cinema. But yeah, we are going into spoiler territory. So here we go. You've got nothing but yourself to blame. Anyway, so right. Sam Rockwell's accent then. So you thought that was okay, right?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah?
I was listening to him all the way through, and it's like, he doesn't slip once.
No.
He rounds all his vowels the correct way. He doesn't do any sort of American... And it's the whole thing of him, talking quite calmly and on the level as well, which sells it. He just is, if I didn't know he was American, I would have thought he was actually English.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Sorry, I was just because I thought you might kind of go towards some of the things he says, so that's why I pulled the spoiler up first. Cool.
Right. No,
okay.
it was just the way his command of the
English
accent and the
vocabulary.
language. Yes, indeed, indeed. How he doesn't go completely cut glass as well. He's got a slight sort of middle class, sort of accent, not completely posh, but not
Cockney.
not Cockney or working class at all.
Geezer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okie dokie. Well, I mean, let's start with you in there, Elton, because I mean, obviously you've got the slightly different point of view on this, so sorry, I might just focus in on you for a bit. But but I mean, okay, so you were bored, right? You were a bit bored.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm not too sure whether it is this Agatha Christie style of film or not. Because I always feel that there's, maybe I'm stupid, but not enough clues as to what's going on. And this just felt, it was, well, we haven't really decided on who it is. This person here. And you're thinking, well, okay. I suppose if I watch it again, I could kind of put it together, but it's just, I didn't have fun in that sort of respect. But I honestly, I can appreciate it for what it is. Unfortunately, if it is just full of dad jokes, which seem a bit out of place in this style of movie and for when it's set. It just seems a bit, I don't know if it's trying too hard or what, but there was just something not quite right with it.
I mean, can I ask another question then? I mean, you saying about like giving the clues away and not, I mean, I mean, I'm coming at it from a second viewing, so I'm already kind of I can't really judge this from that perspective. But I mean, so you didn't get the clues, or you just felt that they were just making the whole thing up, or what? Was it just a bit too left field?
I'm trying to remember the clues that were there. And I can't remember a single one.
Well,
that pointed to who did it.
Well, I mean, okay then. Before we go any further, let's go around the table on that then. So, Jim, what about you? Did you have anyone pegged? I mean, like I say, I know we've done spoilers, but I'm trying to hold it off as far as I can. But did you have the criminal pegged?
No, but I did. From what had been said, I knew it had something to do with the fact of this play had been based on a true story, and I'd worked out whoever's doing the killing will be something to do with what actually happened, and they've took umbrage about it being turned into the mousetrap, basically. I sort of got that far, but I hadn't really sort of pinned it down to anybody, but I had sort of, oh no, that'll be it. That'll be the thread, I think.
Okay. Well, what about you then, Dal? Did you have anyone pegged, or were you just along for the ride, or what?
Well, there was one bit, and I don't know why I thought it, but I thought they're gonna blame Dickie Attenborough for this. I actually thought it was him just for a second.
Oh yeah.
But then after that, it was like, no, I've got no clue as to who the killer is.
Yeah. I mean,
sorry, I'm just thinking of the bit at the end of the film when they're all in the dining room and they're being held at gunpoint. The killer is sat on the sofa, and you just see the butler just fucking fall to the side. Jesus fucking Agatha Christie. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well,
That was a beautifully played scene, though, because
yes.
there's no something with the cups. Like, one of those is doctored.
yep. Yeah. But the funniest bit was the one that's doctored is the most bloody obvious one because it's the one right in the middle with a spoon in it. That's the thing. And she even turns around and says to the killer, she goes, I'll put an extra lump in it for you. And it's like, so it's got a spoon in it. It's in the middle. It's like, how can you get the wrong one? It's like, it's the most obvious one. But, no, don't make me laugh. But, no, the reason I was going to say about the killer was this time round, watching for it, knowing what was coming, was kind of the key. Because when you watch it this time round, the second time round, rather, the bit that you kind of go, oh, I've got it, is they say something about, like, Leo Kopernik's had a fight with this guy when he was taking Joyce out, to this thing, and even then he had a fight, and they said, oh, what did he look like? And did he talk with the Italian accent? He goes, no, talk more like a village idiot. And and it was like, okay, but then you go back to the scene just before that, which was in the oh god, my brain is inside the theatre, and they're talking to the usher. There you go, spoilers. Here we go. They're talking to the usher, and the usher is actually, you can actually watch the usher sizing up the detective. So he goes, so what did he look like? And it's like, oh, he had a felt floppy hat.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes. And he goes, and trousers. It's like, yeah. And what height and build was he? Well, kind of average height. Yeah. And what average height? Yeah. And a medium build. It's like, and he's like, so what? Kind of like the detective then? And it's like, yeah, just like him. It's like.
Do you know one of my favourite bits of conversation comes out of that bit when they go, so like, what was it? What was it that he did that alerted? Well, it wasn't so much what he did; it was the way he did it. How did he do it? Suspiciously.
Yeah, you've been a lot of help. Thanks for that.
There's a suspicious man doing something suspiciously.
And I've just literally described what's in front of me. And that's the thing. When you sort of see that, and then there's the bit just before that when in David Oelio's house, Mervyn Cock-and-Norris, which at one point I can guarantee you I thought I'd had misheard it the first time round, but I'm wrong. This time round, when she's sitting in the when they're sitting in the stakeout just before he goes off for his dentist appointment, before he goes off for the dentist appointment, and she actually says, "Oh, Mr. Cock-and-Arse." And they keep playing with that name. It's like, it starts off as very clearly Cock-and-Norris, and then it's Cock-and-Mamie, and then it's Cock-and-Arse. As the film goes on, those things kind of descend downhill. But no, what I was going to say was in that scene when she's doing when they go into that room and she knocks over all the leaflets, all the stuff piled up.
Yeah,
you get to see him come in and go, oh, you do know that the mousetrap was based on two boys get killed and all this sort of thing, and it was a real murder. And then it cuts to when they go to the theatre itself later on, and it's the scene in the mousetrap with Dickie Attenborough walking backwards and forwards going, these two brothers had no real crime other than to be poorly served by the society and all this sort of thing. And then that's when they're doing that whole sort of chopping and changing and running around the theatre, and you see it looks at Reece Shearsmith, then it looks at David Oelio. Then what it does, it looks at Sam Rockwell, but then it goes to the usher, and the usher's kind of like gripping his hands, and he's kind of looking kind of with a sort of weird grimace. There's a lot more in there when you know what you're looking for, if you know what I mean.
Right.
But it's, I guess the problem is you know it's kind of relying on you wanting to see the film more than once, and if you don't want to see it more than once, then it makes no fucking difference, does it?
That's the problem. I do want to see it again. I really do, because I'm clearly missing something here.
I think you might find it better the second time you watch it, Elton. Just to say that we started watching it. We tried to watch it about a week ago. I think we put it on really late, so we got to a point where we were like, no, we can't stay up. We'll switch this off now and go to bed. It wasn't having the right effect, but then watching it the second time, sort of the first part of it the second time, I actually got into it a lot easier. After that, it kind of cut through all that. This is funny. You must laugh. Type thing. It actually felt a little bit more natural when I wasn't, you know. I think it was just the attitude I went in. So I think you might find it better on a second watch.
Yeah, this is where Mrs. Morden was killed. Mrs. who? Morden. She died here on the stage. Oh, she's over there. Oh, she seems to have bounced back.
Can I just ask, by the way, has anybody actually seen The Mousetrap?
No.
No.
I mean, actually, it's one of the things I know of The Mousetrap. But the only really thing I know about it, though, comes from that Pete and Doug art gallery sketch.
Right.
That's a deep cut.
It is.
You've
seen that bloody Leonardo da Vinci cartoon? I couldn't see the joke. Well, it's a different culture, isn't it, Dad? I mean, I understand The Mousetrap did terribly in Pakistan.
Well, it's just, I think they unintentionally gave away the murderer for The Mousetrap in this.
No, they didn't.
They didn't?
No, as far as I'm aware, they've still maintained the secret of the mousetrap.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's the whole meta gag, is that, you know, that the movie will change the ending. That's the meta gag running throughout the whole film, is that, you know, the mousetrap is terribly boring, so the only way they can spice it up is by having a shootout, a building exploding, some flames, a heroic saving of someone by catching a bullet. And then fading out on a butler dead on the sofa with "I Saw the Light" playing by Hank Williams.
And what do you know next? They'll have that card that says 3 weeks later.
Bomb.
It is kind of Chekhov's plot point list, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And it got to a certain point, I thought, I know what you're going to do here. Go on then.
Cheeky bastards. You're actually showing the storyboard for the final thing in the film. Yeah, and I hate flashbacks. They're used by the moribund and the mentally infirm. Flashbacks, and they break up the flow of the film. Flashback. Yeah. Next thing you know, they'll be putting out a title card saying 3 weeks later, dong, thud. Yeah. So did you guys actually follow the sort of the intertwining plots, or was it just like? Because there seemed to be a lot of, not red herrings, but a lot of weird stuff just to explain why everyone wanted Leo dead. Really, was that okay for you guys, or was that all just a bit frivolous nonsense?
No, I was just quite happy to go along with that, to be honest. So, which is all just part of the fun, you know. I
also like the reference to the fact that everyone was in the police station was working on the Rillington Place murder, and it's like, and the irony being is that Richard Attenborough would play Crippen in the Rillington Place movie. Christie in the Rillington Place movie. which I thought was quite nice. Yeah. How did you find the actual characters, though? Because, I mean, were they all just a bit loosey-goosey drawn just for comedy's sake, or did you find them actually engaging?
I thought because they're more written sort of witty than funny. And it's kind of the very gentle send-ups of sort of common characters and the type of characters you find in an Agatha Christie story. But what sort of comes out in the dialogue, they all have these little touches which makes them human rather than cardboard cutouts. And thanks to the performances as well, that really sort of, I think, fills out a lot of those roles. Like Sam Rockwell, I think, I mean, as we said, his accent is flawless. But what really makes him sound English is the sort of quiet dejection with which he approaches everything.
Yeah.
You just know there's a slow trombone number playing in his head, and the lyrics are just, oh, fucking hell. Oh, fucking hell. Oh, what now? Fucking hell.
She's an inexperienced. She's inexperienced. She can't. We're not catching bikes or stealing sweets. It's a murder operation. Yeah. And how did we find Saoirse Ronan? Everyone go round.
Oh yeah, she was great. You know, just like any time somebody made like I think was it Ruth Wilson's character came in. And she went, oh, I did it. And she went, I arrest you in the name of the law.
No, not now. No. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, the other enthusiastic sort of sidekick.
Yes.
I mean, my favourite bit is when he goes out for his dentist appointment, and then says to her, keep your eyes peeled. And she sort of unblinkingly stares at the camera for like 5 minutes. It's just, it's like pressed up against the windshield. It's like, oh god.
Oh, there's that bit where he's you can see he's settling in just to have a sleep in the car. Yeah. He says, go to the telephone box down the road, call the station, and get them to look this up. She goes, what? This address? He's, yeah, okay.
Let's go there. Yeah. And he puts the hat back. There's lovely little touches in it, stuff like that.
He was settling down for the night, really. Wasn't
he was. Yeah. And then when he's trying to have the kip in the car while they're having the stakeout, and she just won't shut up, and it's just like, actually, I've just remembered I've got to go for a dentist appointment. It may look like I've been to the pub, but actually I went to wash my mouth out with gin.
Oh, and when he turns up the next day when the chief is there with Saoirse Ronan.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, "Is it wise to eat so many mints?"
Yeah. It was only an appointment, and I had a filling while I was there. I decided to have a filling while I was there.
Since I was there, I didn't mind that she jumped to conclusions about everyone. Well, it must be this person. They'll go visit someone. Well, it must be this person because of this, and this. Yeah. And that is what the viewer is doing immediately, because you are trying to work it out. And so you are sitting there going, you are presented with all these facts. And so you go, well, it must be that person.
Yeah.
And you're cut down immediately by Sam Rockwell saying, well, no, that's not enough to have motive to kill this person.
Yeah.
So that was quite clever.
Yeah, lots of that stuff like that. And when was it? When it's like, oh, and the confession was, "I will kill you, you bloody bastard." That's tantamount to the confession. No, it's not. Oh, maybe he did it. No, I don't think he would have given away the entire reason for killing him. I don't think he would have volunteered the reason. But I also like the what part of France are you from? Belgium.
Yes, yeah. Where's that accent from?
Yeah, what part of France are you from? Belgium. Anyway, what was I going to say? So what about the finale? I mean, the finale was kind of a weird tag-on ending. I mean, I personally thought it was part of the whole meta-narrative thing of sort of throwing in. Oh yeah, we are doing a movie where we are doing a movie of the Mousetrap, which we're also doing. We all knowingly nodding and winking at the camera and the audience. Did you mind that, or did you find that was one step too far? Of the sort of we have to find a reason to have a fight and have the flames and the shooting and these gun jams and that sort of thing.
You notice it was the whole thing at the end runs like Adrian Brody's suggestion for the film.
It does.
Because he pulls out here. There's a thing. He pulls out his service revolver as well. English policemen don't have guns. It's all right. He was in the army. He had a service revolver.
How do they kill the bad guys?
Yeah,
they don't.
They say
stop in the name of the law.
Which, funny enough, is exactly what she does in the theatre, isn't it? We? Stop in the name of the law, and everyone just keeps going. Yeah,
I love that bit though with fucking Agatha Christie goes fucking psycho,
kill Christ
shovel
with the snow shovel.
Down, Agatha.
I'm gonna behead this bloke laying on the floor.
He's already dead. Stop. Yeah,
fucking ace.
Yeah, that was quite cool. And again, it's I liked all that sort of stuff of playing with it. Also, I like the bit when they're sort of all standing around the killer, and he's just sitting there, and then all of a sudden it's like they're all doing that sort of eye movement at each other, trying to get the butler to just reach out for the gun, and you sort of it's like locked off frame, and that hand just very slowly coming in from the left hand side of the frame to reach for the rifle. It's just, like for an excruciatingly long time, and they're all. It's just I thought that was really funny, but yeah, I was going to say, I mean, to be quite honest, there's not an awful lot of depth to it. I mean, it is what it is. So, I mean, I don't know that we can discuss too much more of it beyond sort of like, what's your favourite bit? Do you like a lot of Agatha Christie stories? But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. Was there any weak spots for you? I mean, I know with you, Elton, you've got a lot of problems with it, but. But what about? I just want to do the other guys first. But what about you, Jim? Did you find there was any point where you kind of?
Not really. It kept me on board all the way through. I mean, I think for me, this is the kind of thing that operates on a good deal of sort of charm, and I would say it's just a lovely journey into this world. I was quite happy to go along with it, and I didn't really know what to expect. But then I picked up. Okay, we're doing Agatha Christie. It's a bit meta, and it's a sort of a very sort of gentle. It's not really a send off, but it's having fun with it, and it's a homage, and it's just playing around with it. And I mean, I think for me, it's kind of. I mean, recently, I've always been aware of Agatha Christie, but recently I've sort of been watching some of the old. Poirot's with David Suchet, and I actually started reading some Agatha Christie, and it's kind of all right, sort of maybe a bit more on that sort of wavelength.
Yeah.
Of I know there used to be a lot of Agatha Christie stuff when I was younger, and it used to leave me a bit cold because it was kind of like it was all so genteel. It was kind of go on, stick an axe in his head.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of
a floppy.
That's
axe.
where I was at,
Yeah,
I always somebody's like, oh, I want the dark and the psychology, I'd crack it all the time, and no. No, I don't want cracker and grim things like that all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So this, I was quite happy just to go wherever it wanted to, and I think it's just so well made. It builds up that sort of goodwill. If you know what I mean. It's one of those films you're going, yeah, go on, carry on, do what you like. I'm with you here, because it's been made with a lot of care and love, and as I say, it looks fantastic, but that is backed up by some just very, very sharp writing and some fantastic performances. And I mean, I was really, I mean, the usher, the guy who actually is it, is Charlie Cooper, who I sort of know that he kind of, a couple of years ago he was literally was nobody, but him and his sister, they blagged a pilot from the BBC and made it a sitcom, This Country.
Oh right.
And his sister Daisy, she's turned up in all kinds of high-profile things.
Daisy May Cooper, yeah.
Yeah. And so I thought, oh, Charlie as well. That's really nice. It's kind of, good on him because, it's kind of literally, they've carved themselves a career from nothing. And they're both very, very talented performers. They can really inhabit a character.
Yeah.
And they can play more than one character as well. It's one of those things. It's just nice to see someone doing well like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's another part. But oh, this is a lovely film. Oh, look, it's got Charlie in. Oh,
nice. Yeah, cool. And what about you, Dale? Did you have any issues or anything going on with it, or anything where you kind of went?
No, I really enjoyed it. That was it. It's just it was a film that entertained me, kept me glued, and enjoying it. It's just such a nice sort of. It's a very uncynical film. It's definitely got a sort of a naivety about it, and I in this day and age where a lot of films are dark and gritty, especially, real life itself at the moment is very dark and gritty. It's just a nice, refreshing change. I know that a lot of people get bored with straightforward stuff, but this is the reason why things like Murder, She Wrote is so popular, because it's not serious. It's good escapism. That's it. However inaccurate some of the methods are for solving the crimes on that show, it's just a lot of fun to just sit there and watch Jessica Fletcher do her thing, and work this shit out, even if, she is the one that killed them all.
As we all know.
She's the only common denominator in all those crimes, right? She's a part of them. She happens to be there. Come on, sort it out,
Oh, right.
So, I like this. I'd like to possibly see some more sort of adventures of the detective and Constable Stalker.
Stoppard and Stalker.
Stoppard and Stalker. I would actually like to see at least one or maybe two more films featuring those two in it, with that level of that deadpan delivery. Comes from Sam Rockwell pointing shit out. So, this is small, this is far away, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, okay, cool. Fair enough. And Elton, the problems you had with it. I was going to ask you a quick question, not to do with the problems, but do you like these kind of sort of what I call sort of comfy mysteries?
I think I do. Although, don't watch that new Agatha Christie Orient Express one.
Yeah, or Death of the Nile, the other one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the Orient Express, and I thought that was really bad.
Right.
You know what? I've got to ask, Elton. You've sat and watched that film all the way through, yeah? Have you seen the David Suchet Poirot version of that?
No. Because
that's good. It's quite a dark little story anyway, especially the resolution for it, and it's the disgust the Hercule Poirot shows, the contempt at the end of it, which I really love.
Well, he does that in the movie version as well.
I've not seen this. I wanted to watch it because I like that story. I think it's a good. For me, it's one that kind of stands out just because of where it leads to and what it implies. So yeah, but you say it's not that brilliant, then?
See, going off on this as well, I didn't find this amazingly brilliant either, did I? So,
there's no judgment.
Mileage may vary, really, but I think the problem with this movie is not the movie itself. This is very cliche, but it's not you, it's me.
Darling.
Because
No, it's definitely you.
yeah, because I didn't get along with it. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know whether I was expecting it to be an amusing whodunit, but maybe the layers of the meta and adding other bits into it. I don't know. It found me in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And it is one I do want to review again. Or not review, but go back to again at some point. Maybe next year. Sit down and give it a fair crack of the whip.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I'm doing it justice because there's something I've missed.
Yeah, but then if that's kind of what I was getting to, was if it's not the sort of thing that you like, if it's not your sort of your wheelhouse.
I'm wondering if like detective stuff isn't my thing.
Well,
Maybe
that's
it's period detective stuff.
Well,
This is a certain strand of sort of very British sort of detective fiction. This kind of drawing room mysteries, I think, is the technical term for them, where it is sort of very genteel and often it's all
mannered.
Yeah, it's often the murder isn't like about psychotic rage. It's about because what they said to Auntie Beryl last Christmas. That's why I've poisoned 6 people.
Just for as well, if you want a bit of a laugh at this kind of genre, there is a great Mitchell and Webb sketch. I think they call it the Evil Voice sketch, where they do like a Poirot type thing where they've just solved the murder, and the person that he's accusing is like, "Oh no, it can't possibly be me." And then he brings out the facts, and then all of a sudden the person goes from the squeaky high voice to, "And I would do it again." Like that. It's like the evil voice. So that is the murderer. And they do that in quite a few of those programs. Yes, I had no choice. I had to put an end to his life. Well, Mrs. Dorridge, that's really fun of you to say that, Wow. So, Mitchell and Webb. The Evil Voice sketch.
Evil Voice sketch.
Just going back to what I was saying about the movies I don't really get on with. We've covered Blade Runner.
Yes.
We've covered Brick.
Yes.
And I didn't like either of them.
Yeah.
So maybe is this sort of noir? This isn't noir, though, is it? But
it's not noir.
It's still detective fiction, though.
Yeah.
So maybe I've got a problem. I don't know. It seems to be something I would be really interested in because I like it when it's on the TV.
Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe I've hit some sort of barrier.
Well, maybe, but maybe that's the other thing, isn't it? It's you. There are things that you will go with, if you know what I mean, and things that you just simply won't.
Yeah.
And I've been the same myself. There's films where you just as soon as they kick off, you're like, okay, impress me, rather than just watching the film and saying, see how it turns out.
Yeah, and when you say that, if there are jokes in it, you're going to really criticise them.
Yeah, exactly, and that's and maybe that's part of the problem. Is it's not for if someone wants a proper straight sort of detective drama, that's one thing. If then all of a sudden it's like, well, actually no, they want something with a bit more humour in it. I mean, one of the things we've been challenged not to say, and we've not said it yet. So I'm going to keep it back.
Don't say it. Don't
say it. No, it's cool. I'm not going to say it. But there was a challenge thrown at us, and I think we're doing quite well on not saying it. But no, I mean, I was going to say that what about things like Knives Out? I can't remember if we've done Knives Out.
I don't think we have.
We did the first one.
No, I don't know. I can't remember.
I wasn't there if we have.
Yeah. Well, I'm just because I'm just curious whether or not that would be up your alley.
And Clue as well.
Oh, we did do Clue.
That.
Yeah, we did do Clue, but I wasn't particularly impressed with Clue, to be honest. I mean, it goes from 1 to stupid in like 100 mile an hour, and I don't find that. I didn't find that particularly engaging because I know that some people love it. and it's like, yep, that's fine, but that's not for me. I mean, I like my humour witty and not so bloody obvious, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Clue seems to be like, I'm just going to shout really loudly and run backwards and forwards lots, and it's like, yeah, not for me. Not for me. I'm not for that kind of thing. I mean, yeah, I'm just curious, Elton, because it's just like, not saying your opinion is wrong. I'm merely saying that I'm curious as to whether or not you actually like those kind of detective movies to start with. Just
yeah. Do you know, I couldn't say yes or no at the moment.
Okay, well that's good.
You know, Lee, what you say about Clue, it'll be interesting to see what you think of Murder by Death.
Me?
Yeah,
because
because it's very similar to Clue. Very similar. But that's another one that I enjoy. It's stupid. It's Murder by Death. It's the one with Sir Alec Guinness in it, who plays Benson Mum, the butler.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes, that one, and that's got all the famous detectives in it.
Oh, okay.
That one. You got Charlie Chan in there. You've got a sort of like it's like a Charlie Chan cat. He's actually called Charlie Chan.
Inspector Sidney Wang.
Yes, that's it. You got that. You've got like a what's his name? Gumshoe.
Columbo.
No, not Columbo. The guy who plays Columbo, Peter Falk, is playing
Sam Spade.
Sam Spade type character, who's got like an unusual Muscle Men magazine collection that comes into play at one point.
Okay, I'm starting to get a distinct impression that this is very much a film of its time, shall we say?
It is, in some respects. But again, it's one of those silly sort of detective movies.
Okay, I might check it out, but I don't know where it's available. I'm looking at the Wikipedia now. Yes, you've got a sort of Hercule Poirot cipher, and you've got a Sam Spade version, and a Miss Marple style character.
Yeah,
and Inspector Sidney Wang is played by Peter Sellers in Yellowface.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's going to go down well.
Oh no, it won't. But not these days. No. It is of its time.
Once again, it is of its time.
Yep. Yeah, we won't be reviewing the Sir Laurence Olivier version of Othello anytime soon.
No. I don't think so.
At all.
Anyway, one thing I was going to say, just changing the subject very slightly, going back to your previous question, just because I've looked this up now. You know, you were saying you thought it gave away the ending of The Mousetrap.
Yes, there is one thing. You see one character do one thing during a certain scene, and it's like, are you telling us that is the murderer in The Mousetrap?
No, because, and I tell you this, is in the film, this is coming from IMDb now, so I'm not being super knowledgeable, but Leo Kopernik complains to Mervyn Cocker Norris, I've got to be very careful with that name.
Easy.
That there isn't a murder at the start of the screen adaptation of The Mousetrap, which obviously Cocker Norris has taken some liberties with the story, since the Mousetrap play begins with the sound of a woman being murdered in London and the commotion as her body is discovered literally at the curtain up. So the Mousetrap as presented in the film isn't the Mousetrap.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
And it goes back to the meta thing of Leo Kopernik. Are we watching the film, or are we watching Leo Kopernik's film? Because there is no murder. He complains there isn't a murder at the start of the adaptation, and also he spells out the ending, and the bit when Sam Rockwell's character gets hit on the head with a shovel.
Yeah.
There's basically a recreation of The Shining. With Jack with Jack Nicholson. Yeah, no, not just that, but it's Jack Nicholson going through the snow and also talking to a ghost of a dead man at a bar, being served his drinks at a bar. in that.
Yes, there is, isn't there?
Yeah.
That bit. Yes.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. I'm investigating the murder. Whose? Yours. Oh.
Oh.
Does anyone miss me? Nope. Oh, well. Okay. Should have guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be expected.
To be expected, yeah. No, so it was just an interesting thing because it suddenly brings a whole new layer into the film. Is this film, any of this film, actually as presented, or is it all a Leo Kopernik film? Are we watching a Leo Kopernik film version of The Mousetrap, which is written by David Oelio's character?
Oh.
There you go. Finally, we've done it. We've managed to get round to tinfoil hat corner. We've done it, people. That's it. We can all go home now.
This is a much better film.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a real film. It's actually a film within a film that we're watching. Because he actually narrates it as well, doesn't he?
Ah, yes, the unreliable narrator.
See?
We mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yes, we did. The unreliable narrator, yeah. I can't remember what film it was about, but yes, we did mention it. But yeah, so there you go. Oh no, it was Tumbad?
It was last week.
No, wasn't it Tumbad? With the unreliable.
It was last week with the gentleman.
Oh yes, with all the rewinding and when the lion's hungry, he eats. Thing. Yes, gotcha. No, he doesn't do that. It's bullshit. Oh, all right then. Let's try again. Yeah. So it's just another thing you know to just layer on top of the film. Have we got anything else? Anybody else want to bring anything up about it? Anything?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I didn't think we'd have a lot to talk about because it is what it is, and it's kind of all surface and just a bit of fun. Okay then. Yeah. Well, we'll leave it there. We have managed to make it through the review. We were challenged by Reverend Org to not bring up another film, and I think we've done it. So once we get out of the actual review, I can bring it up and tell everyone. But otherwise it will count, and then we won't have succeeded. But anyway, so yes, overall I think thumbs up. Elton's got some issues with it, but maybe one day you'll come back to it and you can let us know if you've changed your mind on it.
Will do.
Or whether or not you're just feeling exactly the same and you're now covered in mastic. Brilliant. Okay, right. Well, that was See How They Run. If you've seen it and you want to let us know what you thought, by all means send it into the usual addresses. Well, all but one. We don't count Twitter anymore. Go on to Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/The Black Dog Podcast. Email us at feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or you can get in contact with us on Mastodon, which is blackdogpodcast@podcasts.social. And that's that. So, if you do, we'll read it out next week. And now it's time to move on to what film we're going to be reviewing next week. And it's Jim's choice next week. So, Jim, what have you got for us, sir?
Well, as it's nearly Christmas, I thought we'd have a film that is actually set at Christmas, but it isn't a Christmas film. It is a film noir. Now, this one, there's a shitty copy on YouTube, but there's a rather nice copy on archive.org, which we shall link to, which you can get for free. It's from 1952, and it stars Adi Lupino, and it's called Beware My Lovely. And it's a story of a lady getting ready for Christmas, and she hires a guy who's passing through to be just a handyman, do a few jobs around the house. However,
yes,
this man has, shall we say, issues.
Oh.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
The fact he has issues is made very clear in the opening scene, and But it's a really just good little movie. I'd not heard of it until I sort of got into a film noir jag earlier this year. And I think it's very well written. I mean, it's mainly just a couple of characters in a house, sort of very sort of cat and mousey, but it's very psychological and I think very nuanced for 1952. I think it's a very, very interesting movie.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, so that's it. Beware My Lovely, and we'll be posting up the links to view this as soon as Jim gives them to me.
Basically, yes.
Yes. Just to cut a long story
put
very
it
short.
in the group chat now before I forget. But yes,
Lovely.
It's on archives.org. It's all perfectly legal, and it's not our fault. It's been up there for ages, and so
Yeah. So
what are you going to do?
But if it gets taken down, it's probably our fault.
Maybe.
Probably. Cool. Well, I'm going to ask the question, though I suspect I know the answer. Darren, have you seen this film before?
No.
Okie dokie. Elton.
I have actually.
Oh, you have?
No, not really.
What?
No, I haven't seen this.
That's got that Monty Python Life of Brian, isn't it? Crucifixion? No, freedom. What? Well, there you go. I definitely have not seen this film at all. I didn't even know it existed until 10 minutes ago, which is ironic because it's on TCM, and I probably at some point would have come across this doing some graphics for TCM back in the day. But no, never heard of it before in my life. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Beware My Lovely from 1952. We're going back, way back into time, and it's a Christmas story. You say, Jim?
Well, it's set at Christmas.
Well, there you go.
But I wouldn't call it a Christmas film necessarily.
Well, I tell you what. Then, in considering you've done that, let us reveal that from here on in, we will be having tenuous Christmas movies. And when I say tenuous, I mean tenuous. Tenuous as tenuous can be. But we'll start with this one, Beware My Lovely. So, yes, we'll be posting up the links to that on Mastodon and on the Facebook group, and you can find how to watch it there. Right, well, that's that. So before we go, it's time to head over to Pimp's Corner and find out what everyone's going to be doing in their individual podcasts. So it's over to you, Jim. What's happening over on hypnagoria.com?
This week I just dropped an episode reviewing 4 Ghost Stories for Christmas by Mark Gatiss, most of which are M.R. James adaptation, which has just come out on DVD. And coming this weekend, I'm starting the Christmas nonsense with my annual commentary for an old BBC Ghost Story for Christmas, in this case, The Ashtray by M.R. James.
Nice.
And on my reading show, there will be a reading of said story to go along with it.
Nice.
All going well.
All things being equal.
If I get my shit together.
Well, yes.
And get them out at the same time.
Okay. Cool. And that's all over at hypnagoria.com.
It is indeed.
Exactly. Lovely. And what about you, Elton? What's the deal?
By the time this episode airs, then you can head over to Shonky Lab and download the episode that we did covering John Cage's 4 minutes 33. I'm joined by Jim and Lee and Andy for that one. We tried to get Darren, but he was far too busy to do other stuff.
He was in Wakanda.
I was in Wakanda.
He was, yes.
He was whacking in Wakanda.
I tried to buy some rock for you guys to bring about, but the shop was closed. Couldn't even get a jar of humbugs or any of that sort of fake sweetie bacon and egg type thing that
Nice.
they do on a paper plate.
Yeah, bloody Wakandans. They never have a good, decent seaside rock, do they?
No,
No.
they didn't. But I did get a picture of a donkey with a hat on. So
A Wakandan
That's
donkey.
all that matters.
Yeah,
A
that's all that
Wakandan
matters.
donkey with a hat on.
Yep, I did.
Nice. Okie dokie. Brilliant. Well, and that's over on rogue2.com.
No.
Rogue2media.com.
media.com.
There you go. Brilliant. Well, I will leave it there. I have nothing else to add at all. Other than say, you've found me here, so you've done well. There you go. So, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
And thank you all for listening. And we shall see you all next week for Beware My Lovely. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.